Afternoon, this is Andrew with Surefire. We're at ShotShow 2017. I'm going to talk to you about some new products. So, up first, one of the most exciting new products we have is our masterfire holster system. So this is brand new, very different and cutting edge. The cool thing about this is it is a retention holster that indexes off the light, and it's a proprietary line of lights that were coming out to go specifically with this holster system. So the release is a thumb-driven release. You rock forward and you pull it straight up. The cool thing about this is that there's a button on the side of the holster, and when that's flipped to the on position, the light will automatically activate when the weapon is drawn. So for people that want to do one-handed manipulations, maybe it's a law enforcement canine guy or someone with a shield, the light will automatically deploy. If you don't want that to happen, you just flip it to off, and now the light will not turn on when you draw it, and it works just like a normal holster. Because this indexes off the light system and not gun, obviously it's not a gun-specific holster. So that's kind of cool. If you have multiple different weapons platforms, you can set up one belt kit with this holster and basically bring any gun and then that light to the range. You know, I have a very big Glock 17 with an ALG 6-second mount and a T1 and a compensator, and it fits in this thing. 2011s, massive guns, you know, anything you got will fit in this. So that's kind of a cool, unique thing. In addition to that, you can run a pistol suppressor on the firearm because the front of it is exposed. So pretty cool new technology. As I mentioned previously, we have a few different holster-specific lights that are coming out. There's going to be a light-only version, a light-laser combination, as well as an entry-level polymer version that's a little bit lower on the budget and still a great option as far as the light goes. So we can move further along here. Also brand new is the XC2. So the XC1's been a very popular concealed carry light. It's one AAA battery, doesn't extend past the end of a Glock or the width of a Glock, 19 rather. So this is still a one AAA battery. It's at 200 lumens of output, but we've added a laser. And you can see the laser right there above the light. We did it intentionally above to get it as close to the bore to reduce your offset as possible. But this is an exciting new option as far as concealed carry goes. Lasers help a lot with non-standard shooting positions, maybe shooting from, you know, the hip kind of. If you're drawing in a weird situation, you might not have the room to get a full presentation and sight picture. So lasers help a lot with that. Also just low light target acquisition in general has made a lot easier with the laser system. Moving on over to the other side, we have the M600IB, the Scout Light Intelibeam. This has been out for a while, but it's been doing well. It's still catching on. Just to touch on that technology real quick, it's an auto-adjusting technology based on a sensor in the bezel and how much light's bouncing back. So the idea with that Scout Light version is if you're in a small room with white walls, you don't have to have as much, like the full 600 lumens bouncing back. It'll dial down to the 100 lumen low level, but for longer shots or outdoors where the light, you know, is acceptable for it, it'll dial all the way up to 600 or anything in between. So it saves your eyes a little bit, and it's a cool new option as far as our Scout Light rifle lights go. So continuing on with some new Scout Light options. So previously the Scout Light setup was you'd buy one light and then you'd pick your accessories, you know, an RM45 offset mount or a dual switch tail cap or an SR07 pressure switch. Now we have several new SKUs so that you can get from the factory the exact setup that you want. Be it, you know, a 3-volt light with a vampire head, dual switch with an SRDIT for an at peel. You can get exactly the setup that you want from the factory. The advantage of that is obviously you don't have to put it together, and then B, you're not buying parts that you don't need. So if you're going to get rid of a tail cap to put on another one that you want, you don't have to buy an additional part. You can get it straight from the factory the way you want it. So it's a cool new package that's available. We've been asked for that for quite a while, finally coming out with those new SKUs. Moving on, we have the 2211, which is our wrist light, but the Signature series. So this is a Surefire edition movement. If you zoom right in on there, you can see the difference in the logo. We still have the Luminox available as well. But with this version, it's a Surefire branded piece, and also it's a little bit lower cost than the Luminox one. Obviously Luminox is a very high-end watch and added a lot of cost to the overall package. So this way you can still have a watch. A lot of people didn't like the 2211 replacing their watch, so you can still have a timepiece with the added capability of hands-free illumination without the severe cost of the Luminox as well. So it's a cool new option in that regard. Moving on to our headlamps, they've recently gotten an upgrade. So this is the HS2 Max Vision. Max Vision reflector in that it gives you a very wide, very even beam pattern. And the output's been upgraded. It used to be 110 lumens roughly. Now it's 300 lumens off of one CR123 battery. The interface has also changed. I'll roll it over a little bit here. You can see that there's a rubber push button on the side. So that's the activation now, and you can still rotate the dial for 12 different output settings. It goes up to 300 lumens, as I mentioned before, so super bright for the compact package that it comes in. And that's the HS2 Max Vision. There are still filter options available if you want to put a red filter or a colored filter on there. Moving on to the last option right up here, this is the Maximus. Maximus has been upgraded to 1,000 lumens now. So it's a lithium-ion rechargeable battery. There's a charging port on the bottom, and it's a magnesium housing which keeps the weight down. But 1,000 lumens out of this guy is pretty impressive, as you can see. So it's a lot of light for as far as hands-free illumination is concerned. All right, so some more new exciting handheld products here. First up, I have the V1C. So you might be familiar with our V1 Vampire series of lights. It's a white light and infrared technology, and the way you select between the output is you pull and you twist on the bezel. The V1C now, it goes both between IR, but also a colored output. So in this case, it's red. This is meant to be obviously mostly a military light, so for field use you only have a colored filter option. You can't get a white light ND, and then if you need to use IR with night vision devices, you can switch right over to infrared. Moving over to these new products, these are also kind of based off the Vampire series as far as how they work, but these are the new Aviators. So instead of previously it was a white light center bulb with LEDs surrounding that were colored. Now it's the Vampire style head, but with a white light LED and a colored LED. And there's 4 options. Bolt this red. We got a blue option. Yellow, green. And then last is this amber. They're all dual output. The first presser click is low, and then the second presser click is high. Click type tail caps on all of them. Dual direction pocket clips so that you can, put it in your pocket, bezel up or bezel down. And you can also use that pocket clip to mount it to the bill of your cap as a makeshift headlamp. You just separate this, slap it up, and click it on constant on, and it works very well for nighttime range activities or anything of that sort. Moving on to this guy, this is the E1B Max Vision. So awesome size for this package. It's very similar to the older E1B that we had as far as the size of it goes. It's a Max Vision reflector, so very wide, very even beam pattern, as you can see. Not much of a hot spot, but it's just a wall of light. So there's not much candela or throw. It doesn't have a whole lot of distance, but it's great for filling up a room or for looking close in. 400 lumens on that one CR123 battery, so super powerful for the compact shape that it takes. And again, it has a dual direction pocket clip. That's the E1B Max Vision. MSRP on that guy, I should say, is $220. Moving over to the G2Z Max Vision. We've shown this before, so I'll touch on it briefly, but it's a Max Vision reflector. So again, a wall of light, very, very broad and even, good for close in. And it's the Z series body, so you can use it as a syringe grip in conjunction with a pistol. Additionally, with the wide beam pattern that it provides, it's kind of nice when you're running it with a gun because you have a lot of leeway. You don't have to have it exactly in line to have the hot spot right on the target. Because it's a wall of light, it's very forgiving when shooting with that light. Next up is the P3X Fury IntelliBeam. So the IntelliBeam technology, we touched on it before. Again, it's a sensor in the bezel. It constantly adjusts based on the amount of light that's reflecting back. So this particular model, the P3X, goes between 15 and 1,000 lumens. And you can override to high if you like by pushing a second time. R1 IntelliBeam, same technology with the auto-adjusting beam pattern, but obviously in the R1 package. So the R1 is a kind of intended for law enforcement light. It's a rechargeable lithium-ion battery, has both a bezel switch and a tail cap switch, 1,000 lumens on high, and in the new IntelliBeam mode, obviously you have IntelliBeam capabilities with that light. And last but not least, we have the DBR. So pretty cool new package right here. Has both a reflector for spot and for flood. So with a prefixed reflector, I'll show you right here on the table. You see that's the spotlight reflector. Gives you a really nice hot spot and a lot of candela. It'll go very, very far. It's 800 lumens on high. With the Max Vision reflector, it's again that wall of light beam pattern. Super wide, super even, very good for close in options. So Now you can have a light that does it all for close in, for far. It's USB-C rechargeable. It's obviously a polymer overmolded form factor. And this also has that intelibeam option. I can show you again. So we're incorporating intelibeam into a lot of new products now. It's very handy. If you're reading a map up close, you're not going to blind yourself, but you can still shine the light far away and it'll dial up for you. Also conserve battery. You don't use more light than you need. You know, it's always adjusting. So I think that wraps it up for the illumination tools over here at Surefire. If you have more questions or anything like that, stop by surefire.com. Thanks for stopping by.